A couple days ago, I put up a video about Batman's version of a Sinister Six, and the video blew up. It did a lot better than I was expecting it to do, so I appreciate every single one of you who took the time to watch the video, like it, and even subscribe. This, of course, was a video I was already planning on making prior, but a lot of people requested I do it, so here I am doing it. Who would be on Superman's version of a Sinister Six? Once again, just like Batman, over time he's had his villains team up to take on the Man of Steel, but he doesn't have a Sinister Six type of a group. Really, no one has a Sinister Six because that is strictly for the character of Spider-Man. But once again, I wrote out 4 teams, 3 of them being a possibility in some way, and the 4th one being my personal favorite. So the first team here that we're going to start with is Lex Luthor, Ultra Humanite, Metallo, Parasite, Toyman, and Livewire. With this first team, not only does it deal with some of Superman's most popular villains in his rogues gallery, such as Lex Luthor and Metallo, but I do think it's diverse enough in the characters chosen that really shows you the type of villains that Superman has to face on a daily basis. Bringing Ultra Humanite into the fold adds to the brain power of this team with himself and Lex Luthor. Toyman does not get the appreciation he deserves with some of the tech that he can create on the spot. Parasite, in my opinion, is one of the toughest Superman villains out there. Now, when you put him on a team who's being led by someone like a Lex Luthor, Parasite is going to be hard to stop. And you could even say, like, Livewire. Why Livewire? Well, I think it adds a little bit of flavor to the team. Instead of just going out and grabbing another super strong figure like a Bizarro, someone who just matches Superman in strength, you actually now have someone who dabbles in electricity. I always thought of her as basically DC's Electro, and electricity can affect Superman. And obviously with Metallo, it's obvious. Just like Parasite, he matches the strength for Superman, but he's also got the kryptonite piece in his chest. I think this team is so well organized. This could be a team you would see Superman have to face in comic books. And also, I just want to throw this in because many people may not know, but the addition of Ultra Humanite, I feel like not only is he an important character towards taking on Superman, but it's just an appreciation to him, considering he was one of Superman's first villains, even before Lex Luthor. Now we focus on Team 2, and this team is just a massive heavy hitter that would honestly probably take a Justice League to intervene and help out Superman. This team is Superboy Prime, Cyborg Superman, Bizarro, General Zod, Ultraman, and Brainiac. This team is straight up overkill. This is not a team that could be your ordinary Sinister Six, but there are 6 of them, and this certainly would be Sinister. This is a Sinister Six that could work for a very particular storyline, and it would only be done once. And the very brief explanatory story I have in my head, Brainiac needs to get to Superman. He wants him for something. Brainiac digs through the multiverse to find specific Superman-centric people, and he even looks within his own universe to find other characters that match his abilities, and he brings all of these evil Superman figures together to go fight the Man of Steel and put him down once and for all. Once again, this would not be a team where you would see anyone say, introducing Superman's new Sinister Six. Then this team pops up. This team is way too powerful to be a Sinister Six to anybody. Superman just has a lot of villains that share his abilities, or in a way are just evil versions of Superman himself. And I thought this just would have been a very fun idea for a particular story, no matter how overkill it might be. For Team 3, I have Mr. Mitzi Spitlick, Manchester Black, Banshee, Titano, Lex Luthor, and Ultra Humanite. This team might be the biggest band of misfits, just a group of characters that maybe no one would ever think to put together on a team. But I think the reason why it would work is because a lot of these characters could play down on Superman's weaknesses, and they could also play mind games with Superman. I'm not going to constantly go through the procedure of saying his full name, so Mr. M, this guy's from a fifth dimension. He's got some crazy cosmic abilities. Usually when he messes with Superman, he does just that. He just basically harasses the Man of Steel, annoys him, gets in his way. Manchester Black I threw into this team because yes, I know he has a team of his own, but I think he'd be willing to take some time away from his current team to join up a very powerful Sinister Six team, and where he can also mess around with the Man of Steel. The guy's got telepathy, illusion casting, telekinesis. He can do a lot to get into the mind of Superman. And we even see how some of that gets done in the animated movie, Superman vs. the Elite. Ultra Humanite also takes a part on this team because he has telepathy, he has telekinesis. Not only is he going to add to the smarts along with Lex Luthor, who honestly some say he might even be smarter than Lex Luthor, but what he is going to add is the mind games that Mr. M and Manchester Black can play towards Superman. Ultra Humanite will be there to do that as well. Titano's basically a King Kong kryptonite gorilla. Now, I would change him in certain ways where I think he should be human who can turn into a gorilla, almost like a Beast Boy. Regardless, that's deadly to a character like Superman. Banshee is supernatural in every way. She has so many abilities, it would take a full video to explain what she can do. But primarily, what many of us know her for is her powerful scream. If this is to infiltrate the mind of Superman, blaring her high-pitched scream into the ears of Superman is going to make him susceptible to getting brainwashed, mind-controlled, messed around with. And then obviously you got Lex Luthor in the group, because whereas I do believe Mr. M himself could have his own mastermind plan, I do think at the end of the day, the team would need someone to answer to, and who other than Lex Luthor. When you're dealing with a team who has somebody who can control minds and who can also utilize the universe as his weapon, I feel like some of these characters could easily be put into line and even brainwashed themselves to be part of this team to take on Superman. Now for Team 4, and this is what my Sinister Six would look like for Superman. Lex Luthor, Mongol, Parasite, Ultra Humanite, Lobo, and Metallo. Lex Luthor is on 3 of these 4 teams. He's such a good strategist and tactician. He knows how to work within a team while simultaneously doing things that only benefit himself. He is the ideal candidate, not just to be part of a Sinister Six, but to be a leader of a Sinister Six. Metallo being there makes sense because he's, created by Lex Luthor, and even if that's not enough, he always wants to get revenge on Superman. Ultra Humanite, once again, I think we need more appreciation from this character. I think Superman does need more villains that come back into the picture and get people more interested in other characters. Ultra Humanite is that one, especially since he is one of the first of his villains, and it adds brain power to this team. Parasite is a flat-out game changer. This is a guy who could honestly take Superman on his own, but now when you throw him in a team with other people like this, Superman is going to struggle tremendously trying to find a way to take out Parasite. I don't really know if Mongol would be willing to work part of a team, but the reason why I have him in there is because he adds a lot of different things for a Sinister Six. Yeah, of course, he's super strong and could take on Superman by himself as well, but he's the owner of Warworld. The amount of resources he would have to be able to supply the Sinister Six with, it might not make too much sense, but I think there's a particular story where he could be part of it. I also think that his aggressive nature, his almost need to defeat Superman, would be able to pry him away from his own home planet to join a Sinister Six just so he could take him down once and for all. Then the reason why I have Lobo is, once again, yes, he's primarily a Superman villain. He's a mercenary, so he could really fight anyone if the contract is big enough. And I think if Lex Luthor and maybe some of the resources from Warworld, from Mongol, if he was paid a high enough price, he would definitely join a Sinister Six for Superman. But another reason why I put Lobo in this team is because I always feel like a Sinister Six needs to have that one villain who's maybe not entirely in it. They're not entirely there to defeat or to kill the hero. They do have a certain breaking point. For example, with Spider-Man Sinister Six, I've always seen that to be the Dr. Octopus. He's always the guy who might come to his senses and be like, what are we doing? This is wrong. It's the reason why I put Mr. Freeze in my version of Batman Sinister Six. I feel like Mr. Freeze would get to the point where he thinks to himself, we can't be doing this anymore. Batman isn't really our true villain. I'm starting to realize the team I'm on are actually the villains. I feel like eventually Lobo would get to the point where he realizes, what am I doing on this team and what is this team's end goal? There's a certain level we can go to take down Superman and try to defeat him. This has gone on far too long. It's far too much at this point. I do think Lobo does have a breaking point to him. He is not all evil. And there might even be a point in a storyline where he would actually start to assist Superman. There are times where Lobo is bad, and there are times where Lobo is neutral. He can be good for things, he can be bad for things, and I feel like he would be the outlier on a Sinister Six team. But overall, this is a team who could keep him on Earth or even find a way to take him off planet and do whatever their plan might be to take down Superman. But there you go, everyone. That is a Sinister Six look for Superman. There's 4 teams, with the last one being my personal team. Just like before, in the comments, put down what your personalized Sinister Six team would look like for Superman. But everyone, that is all I have for you on this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you haven't seen it already, make sure to go check out the Sinister Six video for Batman. So until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.